In just over 24 hours, once again, we are ready to experience the entertainment spectacular, the show of shows, the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 of Under the Middle Rope. I am your host, Jose Tabuada, and we have made it to my favorite time of the year because everybody that knows me knows how much of a nerd I am with WrestleMania. This is for me the biggest event of the year, and rightfully so. And here we are now, just unexpectedly a day away given the current circumstances that are happening around the world with COVID-19. And at this rate, I just think the first thing that we can say is it's going to happen. It is what it is. I know a lot of people have been calling for the postponement, and rightfully so. A lot of people just say just cancel it if they were a WWE hater. But it is what it is. Here we are now, and at this rate, the only thing we can do is just sit back, appreciate it, relax, and try to have fun with what's going to be now for the first time ever a 2-night WrestleMania. And of course that is something that a lot of people were calling for in the first place given how long the event is, but we have it in some sort of shape or form. And so today is our WrestleMania predictions, because of course we need to predict the show. There's a lot to uncover. There's a lot of stuff to see what could go where, and now with the rumors that we've been hearing lately, I think that's one thing that we've addressed about superstars dropping out, including a big name that will be discussed later on as the show goes by. So my guests for today, we have 2 guests lined up. Originally we were supposed to have a third, unfortunately could not make it. The first one comes all the way from the United Kingdom, my good friend Mr. Pete Atkinson, who I met online, but we're not going to get into that. You know, it's nothing shady, nothing weird. I'm going to introduce him properly as soon as I pass it over to the guests. And the last guest is Mr. Andrew Woltman. He is nicknamed Wolf because people thought that his last name was Woltman, or Wolfman, I should say. So, I don't know, roll with it. We call him Wolf a lot. He is from New York, and we are ready to get his take as well. So, it is a long show, as if you haven't seen it from the time on your Spotify or Apple or YouTube, whatever. Sit back yourself, relax, and enjoy our predictions for WrestleMania 36. Okay, everybody, it's time for what I was waiting for a long time, and let me introduce to you my guests for the day, starting off in America, because like I said, this is an international style call. He's wearing an ugly Chiefs hat, but it is what it is. Introducing one of my good friends, and the reason why I went to WrestleMania, Mr. Andrew Woltman, or as we like to call him, Wolf. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Jose. Good to be here.
Yeah, and introducing from all the way across seas, across the ocean, whatever you want to say, across the pond, as the Brits like to say it, from the UK. And the reason why we have Under the Middle Rope as Under the Middle Rope, Mr. Peter Atkinson. Welcome, buddy.
Yep, thanks for having me on as well.
And
also
I know,
a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, guys. And I know I wanted you both here at one certain point in time. I know Wolf was complaining that I didn't bring him up sooner. Now he gets to be on an entire show.
You waited until episode 3. Come on, man. What the hell?
Hey, at least you're on. At least you're on. So like I said, everybody, so this is episode 3, and we are going to be making our WrestleMania predictions. But first things first, I think I just want to check up on you guys. How are you guys holding up across this whole lockdown, COVID situation? We're not going to go into in-depth again, but I just want to make sure how you guys holding up.
I'm doing all right. I mean, staying inside, that's the important thing. Catching up on a lot of streaming. Pete, how about you?
Yeah, well, it's pretty rough, as it is for most people. We've just found out today we're probably going to look at another at least 2 months of lockdown before we can start to even resume some normality from it. But yeah, it's rough, but catching up on a lot of TV, catching up on a lot of streams. Still trying to Skype call with friends and stuff to try and keep some semblance of normality. But,
yeah, and I think that's a good thing about the group chat that we're in, because we're in with a whole bunch of people from essentially across the world at this rate, and it's good to do stuff like this to kind of keep us sane but healthy for everybody's sake. And of course, we get to talk about our favorite thing in the world, which is wrestling. And so, like I said, we're going to be predicting the card, and there is a lot to digest because, I mean, like I said last week, now that we got into 2 nights, there is so much to the process, and we're going to get into that. And just as a warning to everybody, as I mentioned in the intro, this is being recorded Sunday afternoon, Sunday, March 29th, and this is now released to you guys on Friday, April 3rd. So this card could have been updated. This card could have been reduced here and there, and even now, between the time that we started recording this and just about 2 days prior, we've already heard a lot of changes from, superstars refusing to be on the card to now Roman Reigns, not official yet by tapings measures, but now that he's not part of WrestleMania as a whole, which could drastically change everything. So what we're gonna do is, at least when we get to those certain points, we're gonna predict as is, and then at the end of this video, we're gonna put up a graphic showing the updated cards, and then if there is a change to the card, anyways, we're gonna review it next week when we sit down again. So moving forward, just before we go on, we're supposed to have a fourth member on this chat here, our good friend Nick Charlick, but unfortunately he's just going through some things right now. Nothing serious, but so we just want to wish him well, because we were gonna bring up a little bet that we've had here that stems back from September 2019, because the three of us were part of a fantasy football league, small little 6 group of us, and I won the whole thing. I didn't even wear my ring, which I'm ashamed of. But
what the hell? I sent it all the way to Canada. The least you can do is put on the damn ring. Come on.
I'm sorry, but Pete is gonna make his predictions, and he has a little bet with Nick, and whoever has the most predictions wrong, they have to watch Cats and Charlie's Angels. Am I right, Pete?
Not only just watch it back to back.
Oh, back to back.
One in a marathon, just one straight after the other.
Yeah, because the 4 of us were in a semifinal originally. I had to face Nick in my semifinal. Pete had to face Wolf, and the losers had to watch a specific movie. I had to watch Frozen 2. Nick had to watch some Christmas movie. Wolf had to watch Cats, and Pete had to watch Charlie's Angels. Wolf and I made it to the final. We avoided watching our movies. Pete and Nick had to suffer. And then Nick said he would watch Cats, and he's been delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. So yeah, this is what you guys have to now deal with. So Pete, all the best to you, and I think for everybody's sake.
Well, the original plan was to go and watch it in the cinema, but by the time it turned out I'd actually lost the bet, Charlie's Angels wasn't showing in the cinemas near me anymore. Nick just came up with random excuses not to go and see his. So
yeah.
Oh, I have children. I have to take care of them.
He does have a family, ladies and gentlemen.
Lame excuse.
So it is. So that being said, let's get right into it, because there is a lot to predict. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be listing the matches one by one, at least in my opinion, from least important to the most important, and then so small tidbits here and there as to what's gonna be happening, like why this match is gonna happen, like we did with After the Count a couple years back. So away we go. Let's start it. Elias versus King Corbin. It was a random throwaway match this past Friday on SmackDown. King Corbin pulled off a little Mustafa and Scar and threw him off a little ledge there at the Performance Center. Pete, let's start with you, then Wolf. Who do you guys got and why?
Well, I'm a bit surprised we're starting with this match, because you said we're starting with the least important. But clearly, this one has more at stake than any other going for it. Honestly, when it came to this one, I thought it was a bit of a toss-up. Realistically, who cares? But I'm going to go with Elias. And I'm going with Elias because I have a feeling Gronk might get involved and do a mini kind of humiliate Corbin style segment where Corbin takes a loss as a result of Gronk messing with him.
That's interesting. And just to point out, Gronk has not been involved, has been involved at WrestleMania before, screwing Jinder Mahal over in the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial in the pre-show back in 2017. So that's not a bad prediction. Wolf.
Honestly, this is one of 2 who cares matches for me. I mean, it was announced online. I mean, they have so much time to fill on TV right now with an empty arena, and they couldn't just, build it up there. I'll give them a little bit of credit. They've been building this one up a little bit more than the next one, which at Black versus Lashley, but we'll get to that. Again, it just doesn't reek of any sort of effort. It's hitting all those basic, bullet points. How do we set up an Attitude Era babyface match for Elias? Like, let's talk about poop. Let's talk about photoshopping somebody's face on something stupid. Let's just have the heel get heat before the pay-per-view. Elias is going to win. I don't see what either of them would get from a victory here, but, might as well, have the babyface win.
Yeah, I see Elias as well. I don't see any big thing out of it. I mean, from the start, let's get this right. I am not a King Corbin fan, and that's just not just because of his character work.
to me, I just don't see the appeal just in general. I get people say he's one of the best heels because he's doing his job, and sure he is. Just to me, he was never appealing. That being said, I feel like they've already done all that they can with Corbin with that role per se. Like they've already put him on pedestals to represent that King of the Ring win. He's lost matches left and right because I don't know. Like I'm just gonna go with Elias as well because I just feel like it's a safe bet, I guess, at this rate. So that's gonna be my pick. Moving forward, Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley. Again, another random match. No build up whatsoever, as Wolf said. There is nothing to this that says, "Oh my goodness, this is a match that I need to sit down with the family and watch it," because Lana. I don't know. Wolf, Pete, then myself. Wolf, who do you got?
Again, I guess Aleister Black because, when in doubt, pick the face. But this doesn't even have the benefit of being built on TV. It's literally like they took a wheel, span it, and two names came up. Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley. They don't have matches. Let's just throw them together. And you're not even like, I don't even think, has Bobby Lashley even been on TV to build this at all?
Not that I'm aware of, Pete.
No, I don't. Has he been on TV at all since the Lana stuff?
I don't
maybe
think
like
so.
once or twice, but I mean, if you dating like compared to if you want to say a percentage since let's say New Year's, 20% of shows, maybe 25 if we're lucky. I don't know. Black has been on week after week, but I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't see Lashley at all. So it's a good point.
Yeah, there's nothing to this match. I mean, if there's a pre-show match, this is it. And I'm going to say Aleister Black because they're the only one that's even on TV right now.
Mm-hmm. Pete?
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. Aleister Black at least has some potential behind him. Bobby Lashley is Bobby Lashley. But when it comes to Vince McMahon, you never really know. It could be a bit random, but I think this should be just to give Black a relatively decent momentum-building win. Hopefully he gets a nice win over Lashley, can move on to something maybe a little bit bigger. So yeah, I'm going with Black. After all, he has still only lost one match since being called up.
Yeah, I was originally saying Lashley. I was because I feel like they just want to throw it away. But you guys do have a point in the sense that they have been building Black with jobbers, or they've been building him just like with so small little tidbits here and there, giving him those promo pushes. But yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with Lashley. I think I like what Pete said. It's gonna be random. You never know what Vince McMahon thinks, and I feel like this is one of those matches where, he could have Vince say, "All right, let's just give him the win and make Lana do something." I don't know. I have no idea. So that is what it is. The next match. This is not official yet, but we're going to be assuming it's official because our blood has been boiled since Valentine's Day. It is Dolph Ziggler versus Otis. And this originally stemmed back into when Otis had the crush on the pretty girl. And gentlemen, I'm sure we've all been there in some shape or form. Or who hasn't at this rate. And, just when Dolph Ziggler got a date, he got lucky. And just when he was about to go on that date, Dolph Ziggler steals it, interferes. Otis was late. It is sad. We are crushed. And now here is one of the biggest heels of all time in Dolph Ziggler. Again, ready to face off Otis. Not official yet. Assuming that it will be official. I want to say about an 85% chance, most likely, it gets official. Who do you guys got and why? Wolf?
Well, interesting. This is actually, in all the year he's been there, this is Dolph Ziggler's first singles match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting statistic. I'd kind of like to say Otis. I mean, I feel like they're trying to build him up, maybe give this some sort of a happy ending. But it also wouldn't surprise me, like, if they, reward Dolph Ziggler, give him the win for, like, towing the company line for so long. So it could really go either way. I'm leaning more towards Otis. Mandy's going to get involved, probably Sonya, maybe Tucky. But there's going to be shenanigans. This match isn't going to be any sort of technical masterpiece. It's going to be there to, tell a story. I'm thinking Otis wins.
Hey.
So I think the story is quite far from done at this point, and I think this is going to be another one of, I'm going with my head rather than my heart here. I think they're going to crush our spirits. I think Dolph Ziggler is going to win this, and I think it might be either Tucker turns on him. I think Mandy might turn full heel on him. I think Sonya might cost him, but I think some kind of shenanigans are going to go down. I could even see Ziggler going potentially too far and just brutalizing him in this match. And I think our hearts are going to get broken, and I think Otis is taking the loss, and I think Dolph Ziggler is getting his win.
It's funny you bring that up because I do remember WrestleMania 20, Christian and Chris Jericho, they had a little love triangle with Trish Stratus, and just when Trish Stratus was, gonna run to Jericho as that good, touching moment, she turned on him, then started making out with Christian, and then that was a thing, and that was the full heel. I see why you say that because history could repeat itself. Tomorrow or Sunday, whenever this ends up, I'm gonna say Otis though, because damn it, we've all been there. We've all been there, and I just want to see some sort of redemption on a mainstream platform.
I do think he'll get there eventually. I just don't think it's going to be yet.
Yeah,
I thought that about Rusev too, but we'll see.
And it's funny. I think because of COVID and because of how everything shut down, I feel like maybe they wanted to put this on a better build. And I mean, that being said, how many storylines were drastically affected by the shutdown, right? And I feel like if this wasn't the case, I thought maybe we would get like a proper good like closure to this thing at WrestleMania, like that big WrestleMania moment, which it would be not like as drastic as like Kofi winning, but it would be up there. And I think. I wouldn't be surprised to Pete's point when he says that it may continue, and at this point, given that they might need to fish for content moving forward, not a surprise. By the way, we're not betting something against ourselves. Pete is against Nick, but this is just for fun, predicting. Nothing's on the line. I was debating to bring back a championship, like I said in the past, but that's still undecided. But we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the predictions progress. Moving forward. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It is now a triple threat ladder match. The first triangle ladder match is WrestleMania 17 with TLC 2, or if you want to be specific, without the tables and the chairs, WrestleMania 2000 with Edge and Christian, Hardys, and the Dudleys. The Miz and John Morrison, hey, ho ho, good God. New Day and Usos. It's been an interesting build-up. The Miz and Morrison have been tackling this build tremendously with their parodies of teams, with their commentary, their surprisingly charisma. And this is, I think, in my opinion, one of the best spots that John Morrison can be in since he returned, because I know a lot of people wanted him on the big pedestal because of his stuff with like Lucha Underground and stuff like that. But where he is now, I can't think of anything better for John Morrison. Pete, who do you got and why?
Well, I think this is, again, one of those matches where it might be changing in this week.
Yeah, that's true.
If it somehow goes ahead in its current form, I'm taking Miz and Morrison. If it goes ahead in the current form. Like I said, we nearly had a triangle ladder match on the WrestleMania 33.
Yeah.
Before it became Fatal 4-Way as well. So I think that was the last ladder tag match we had.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
No, I'm going with Miz and Morrison. I think the reign's only started. They're building a bit of momentum. And I think unless they have to, they're not going to lose those tag team titles yet.
Wolf?
I'm also going to say Miz and Morrison. I mean, New Day never really needs the titles like for what they're doing. They have enough going on without it. I mean, I know people don't necessarily. There's certain people that don't really care for New Day. Yeah, I think Miz and Morrison, they have some momentum. They're just kind of getting started. It'd feel weird to take the titles from them now unless like it's something that's affected by real world circumstances, which, again, who knows? It could be. But I feel like in his current form, yeah, Miz and Morrison are going to retain.
Yeah, I think so as well. One of the things that were circulating, and you guys know me, I've been trying to avoid spoilers left and right because I can't
Really? You haven't
stand
mentioned that?
No, I haven't. Not publicly at least, but you guys know that it just irks me a lot just because you want to go, especially now that it's taped. It is what it is. But one of the suggestions was that the Usos are not taking part of this. I'm not sure where I heard that. I feel like I have, but potentially solidarity with Roman. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. Again, that's what.
Well,
I think that was an name that was thrown around as one of the competitors that are not that I've dropped out last minute. That being said, that doesn't change anything for me, and I do think as well that Miz and Morrison have such a great thing going on. Again, incredible stuff. That should not end at all. That is going to be my pick for this match. The Fatal 5-Way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, originally 6, but Dana Brooke dropped out due to putting herself in self-quarantine, which is a bit scary. Obviously, we hope that she's okay. Bayley going in as champion, Lacey Evans, Naomi, Tamina, sure, and her Bayley's best friend, Sasha Banks, And now I know that you guys are not going to pick Tamina, so who are you guys going to pick instead? Wolf?
Bold of you to assume I'm not going to pick Tamina. But I don't think Bailey's going to retain. I feel like now is the time for her to let go. I don't think Sasha's going to.
Sorry, she is the longest SmackDown Women's Champion to date, by the way, just as a throw in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be her, and I don't think it's going to be Sasha. I feel like they're going to start some sort of story between those two now. I don't think necessarily the championship will be involved. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But I feel like Naomi's going to take it. I know they were getting behind her for a little while there, and it's in Florida. That's her home state. It'd be a great place for her to win the title. So my gut's going with Naomi. Lacey Evans has never really done anything for me, especially now that she's a babyface, which feels extremely forced, square peg in a round hole. I don't see it. So realistically, Bailey could retain. Sasha might take it, but I'm most likely saying Naomi's going to take this.
That would be Naomi's first. It would be her second reign or third reign, I believe, since she did have that WrestleMania 33 moment in her home city in Orlando, WrestleMania 33, like I said. Pete?
I think I completely disagree with Wolf on this one. I think it's going to come down to just between Bailey and Sasha for the two. And I think we're going to get a bit of a tease. I don't think it's going to be a full-blown match, but I think we might get about 5 minutes at the end just to show what the two of them can do. And then I think there might be a little bit of a breakup of that friendship. I think Bailey is going to go full heel on Sasha. I'm looking for the future. SummerSlam is in Boston, which is Sasha's hometown.
Oh, that's true.
I could definitely see Sasha going into the SummerSlam match against Bailey as the hometown hero face against heel Bailey. So I'm going to stick with Bailey retaining the title for now, and then potentially building that to be the summer-long feud.
That's a great point, Pete. That is a huge point, and obviously there are again more whispers saying that they kind of want to turn SummerSlam into to salvage the WrestleMania weekend, such as having the Hall of Fame that weekend. That's a very interesting point there. I'm going to say Sasha, though. I'm still going to say Sasha. I'm going to stick to what my original gut said, even though Pete was very, very convincing. I think I do agree with Wolf in the sense that I think it's time for Bailey. I think it's going to be time for Bailey to drop that title. I think it was a great reign. I think it had some misses here and there, but I do see Sasha kind of like not going full heel, but kind of going full baby for her. She's like, she doesn't want to tolerate it, and she wants to get what she wants and become champion. So that's going to be my pick. The Raw Tag Team Championship, another match that was kind of thrown last minute. The Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, your Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on Andrade and Angel Garza. This was interesting. Wolf gave me a little, I don't know if he was messing with me the other night. I don't know if it was true or not that Andrade was replaced. But
that is true.
It is true.
It is true.
Oh,
cool. I've seen the spoilers, but I'm not going to reveal them, obviously. I'll leave
that's interesting. Okay. I guess I think at this rate I wouldn't mind knowing, because I don't know who is it.
Austin Theory from NXT.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's
basically a person that has once been described as if you tried to draw Finn Balor from memory.
Now keep in mind.
It's a massive moment for him as well, because he's only 22 at the moment, and to be featured on a WrestleMania card at this stage, because he's barely even been featured on NXT yet, it shows that maybe is some hope for him going forward.
Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that we were also, I think, Pete, it was you who said in our group chat yesterday that they are leaking fake spoilers on purpose. Or somebody said it, that there are leaking fake spoilers on purpose. If it's true,
that could be a fake article.
That could be huge. Which, again, I commend WWE a lot for trying to swerve the living hell out of us to avoid, getting something ahead of time for WrestleMania. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, who do you guys pick between Street Profits and Andrade / Austin Theory, if it's true, and Angel Garza? In that being said, Street Profits. For me, I'm just going to say Street Profits right off the bat. If there is that change, if there is that change, I don't even see it happening, just because, like you said, 22, it is fairly young to jump right into that scene. At the same time, I think the Street Profits did have something very great going for them anyways. I don't even see them dropping it right away, but that would be my pick, Street Profits. Pete.
Yeah, I'm going with Street Profits, especially if Andrade has been changed to Austin Theory. I think that makeshift tag team, that would be the most ridiculous title change ever. Street Profits have just got it.
That'd be pretty big.
Yeah, Street Profits has just got the belts. I don't see them losing it now. If it was Andrade and Garza, it might be a bit more of a chance, but I would still stick with Street Profits.
Wolf.
Well, the match in like its original form, like Andrade and Angel Garza versus Street Profits, that itself was replacing the idea of Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Unfortunately, Rey Mysterio is in quarantine. So
Also, yeah.
if they do pull the trigger and like put Austin Theory to replace Andrade, then that's just like the third version of this match that they're trying to put together. And frankly, I don't see them pulling a title change for something so, audible. And like Pete said, the Street Profits just got the title. I feel like it's way too early for them to lose it, so I'm going to go with Street Profits. But no matter who they're facing, I'm going to say Street Profits. But, if Austin Theory is in the match, good for him. That's a great spotlight for him, and he deserves it.
I think it's just special. Just anytime when somebody gets to be at their first WrestleMania, in some shape or form, it's such a big moment that they've been working on. And for Austin, if that is the case, I can't even imagine what he would be going through. And I'm pretty sure he would be somebody that, even though this is the state that it's in, he's just happy to be there. And why wouldn't you? The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Sami Zayn, who won it off of Braun Strowman at the Elimination Chamber, which got us all excited, is taking on Daniel Bryan after Drew Gulak defeated Shinsuke Nakamura this past Friday on SmackDown to get the match. Pete, who do you got and why?
I'm going with Daniel Bryan. I think, unfortunately, Sami Zayn is going to be a transitional champion. I think they want to get the belt onto Bryan and into his storyline with Gulak. I think they might see it as bringing a bit more prestige back to that belt as well, putting on a known star, giving it a bit of a rub. And I see the feud going forward probably being Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura, because Daniel Bryan's basically outright said he wants to work with Nakamura. And I think it gives a chance to get into that match from this. I do hope they use it as a chance to show that Sami Zayn is a good wrestler, though, and I hope they do put on a bit of a classic.
That's something I think a lot of fans have been waiting for, Nakamura and Daniel Bryan. And I know people were complaining that Nakamura doesn't perform at his 110%, but this kind of makes you wonder if that is the case. Finally, I think he would finally really kick it into high gear. Wolf?
Well, I just think it's kind of upset that, this match would have sold out any Ring of Honor show in 2010, and now it's being performed in the middle of a goddamn gymnasium in Florida during a pandemic. I'm going to say Daniel Bryan because Sami Zayn is basically WWE's version of Charlie Brown running towards a football. No matter how much he wants it, it's just not there for him. So, yeah, I'm glad he finally has like a title to put on his Wikipedia page. He deserves it. God knows Sami Zayn deserves the world, but Daniel Bryan is going to win this.
I'm going to rebel. I'm going to say Sami Zayn. I do think that they're going to continue with it a little bit more. I think they kind of want to milk this. And then I kind of see Drew screwing Daniel Bryan over. I don't know why. I felt like there was like a heel turn happening there, and it hasn't happened. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but just to me, there's still something that screams somebody's going to screw something over. So that's why I'm going to go with Sami Zayn. I could be horribly wrong.
I think it's just a bit too early for that. So I think eventually Gulak will screw over Bryan, or vice versa. But I think it's just a little bit early into their partnership.
There's something to the partnership. I'd like to see it flourish a little bit more before we get to that moment.
Absolutely. It's just I just there are times where like this is where like I hate being a WWE fan because how many times have we had our hearts broken with partnerships and for anything. So that's by the way, if Daniel Bryan does win, that would be his first IC title win since WrestleMania 31, and I believe the first time since 2015, since he had the Intercontinental title before he had to relinquish it due to injury. Moving along, it's to me it's the never-ending storyline. I forgot when this started. I don't even know how it ended up developing, but here we are, or why it's still going. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Rollins has that little faction. So I don't even know what's it called. The Messiah. Like what's the group name called?
It doesn't have a name.
Don't think they have a name. He's just the Midnight Messiah.
It's dumb. So dumb. It's a never-ending storyline, and just when we thought it was going to be over, let's say at the Royal Rumble or on a Monday Night Raw for that matter, it kept going, and it was the same six-man tag, or it was the same tag, or the same one-on-one. It was just sickening, absolutely sickening. I hope this is it. I cannot elaborate enough how much I hate the storyline. I'm gonna just say Kevin Owens just to shut Rollins up. That's all. Wolf.
Yeah, I think it started like right before Survivor Series.
That's long.
Yeah, it's pretty darn long. But again, that's kind of when Rousey and Becky Lynch started last year. So my point here is that it's not unprecedented to have a story go this long into Mania. I just don't think that this was ever really their intention to go this long, and it doesn't have that same kind of like marketing that match did. And God knows how many bells and whistles were at. Well, I don't want to get into. We'll get into Becky later, but I think this is kind of just. There were different ideas for this match. I mean, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens versus maybe Rollins and Murphy, but Joe being put on the shelf for both an injury and a suspension changed that. So I feel like they just want to put a punctuation on this. I feel like they're ready to end it. And, Kevin Owens had a really good promo about what being the performance center meant to him, more so than Rollins, though he's been holding his own in promos lately, too. I'm just going to say Owens to give him that big babyface rub.
Yep. Pete?
See, I think Seth Rollins' faction has still got quite a bit of potential. I don't think they've really elevated how they should have. There's been way too many varieties of the same 8-man tag match, closing the same show in the same way every single time, the same run-ins, the same people, and that was unfortunate. However, I do think they need to build up some big heels, so I'm going with Seth Rollins, and I'm looking, potential spoiler of my future prediction, of future title challenges and summer programs, and I think Rollins is going to be one of those going forward, so I think he's going to get the rub now. And also looking down my predictions, I had a lot of face wins, so I think there needs to be a few heel wins thrown in there. So I'm going to go with Seth Rollins, and he is still Mr. Reliable.
Just want to point, I am writing everything down at some point. And just before we move on to the next match, because the next one is interesting, I think one of the reasons why I've been bugged with this, I think just be kind of like what Pete says, like there's been a lot of the same run-ins, the same matches, the same this and that. The difference with Becky and Ronda was that there wasn't too much interaction, which was great. And then when they did, it felt impactful. It felt huge. And Charlotte was thrown into the mix. And then it just got even crazier like that. I think it was the go-home when they're all fighting with the cops and whatnot. Incredible stuff. And I think the issue with this, because of that, the continuous, repetitive and the same matches and same main events for that matter, to me, it just instantly died. It wasn't working for me. So that's why I'm just a bit bugged. But they
also teased a few things as well where it could have got a bit more interesting. These times where Rollins basically threatened to crucify Kevin Owens, you could have had a few more fun segments around that where you could have developed the story a bit more. You just didn't.
I'm kind of mad we never got an exorcism on television.
I mean, the last time there was some sort of crucifixion type esque was in ECW with the Sandman, and that got a lot of great positive reaction.
You've had Taker's things before on that way. He's
I know,
people and done some weird stuff.
And speaking of the Undertaker, this one is intriguing. I didn't think I would be intrigued, and now I suddenly am. AJ Styles, the Undertaker, set up at the Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. Taker coming in, taking AJ's spot. I don't know I didn't see the event, nor will I watch any Saudi event. It's now turned into a quote-unquote boneyard match. And, of course, we were asking, what is a boneyard match? What is going to happen? Then AJ Styles on a live stream, I said that this is going to be either the equivalent of a buried alive match or a just fighting in a graveyard. If it is a buried alive match, it is the first in WWE since 2010 when Kane defeated The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. There's only been 5 of them in history. This would be number 6. Taker has been involved in all of them. And AJ has been continuously bringing up, the non-kayfabe side, Mark Calloway style, which I know can be hit or miss. I'm a fan of when they break kayfabe. I understand that with The Undertaker, it is a bit spotty because he's still to this, no matter how old you are, no matter how many years you've been watching, no matter how many years he's been in the business, he is still that dead man that will rise from the grave. This is interesting. Wolf, start with you.
Well, I like breaking kayfabe sometimes, but with the Undertaker, it just feels like the end of an episode of Scooby Doo when you pull the mask off, and that it just feels kind of cartoony. Mark Calloway. No, frankly, I kind of hope a boneyard match is just like a ring, but the ropes and turnbuckles are just made out of bones. I think that'd be a pretty funny visual. Like, hey, stop at the same Party City, you got Eric Rowan's Spider. But honestly, I'd like to see AJ Styles because, like Pete said before with Rollins, you really want to build up the heels after this. But I've been watching WWE for the past, 5 years, so I know how they think, and they're going to make The Undertaker win because, they'll give him the Mania win unless it's, like, really, really impactful. I'd like to think AJ Styles would be an impactful win, but so my heart is with Styles, my head's with Taker. That's what I got.
So what's the pick officially?
I'm going to say Taker.
Taker. Okay. Pete.
Yeah, I think I've made my opinions fairly well known that I've not enjoyed the build up to this match in things, and pretty much exactly what Wolf said. With Taker, I feel like I do enjoy getting things taken out of kayfabe at time every now and then, but with Taker, I just don't feel like you can do it, and I feel like it damages AJ as well, because if he loses, he's now lost to Mark Calloway, and if he wins, he beat the old man rather than
that's true.
Boneyard match, very intriguing, and I think this is one of my safer picks where I'm picking Taker, and
Taker.
I feel like for WrestleMania they want to give Taker some wins, so when he loses it's still very impactful. I don't think Styles needs that win, and I'm hoping one day when it does come to Taker's last match, he does put over somebody who does deserve it, and I don't think Styles needs that.
We've seen that twice already. He has 2 losses at WrestleMania, which again, if you were to talk 6 years ago, as I was just telling the guys they're playing WrestleMania 30 in one of our local sports stations, the moment that the streak ended, and before then, a loss to The Undertaker would just be ridiculous. And now you say that if he does lose as well, it's another loss, right? Like, what can you do? I'm still gonna go with Taker as well. I think that he's gonna quote unquote avenge all this non-kayfabe. So I think the guys know this. I'm a huge fan of breaking kayfabe because we know it's scripted. We know that there's like that. We know that there's like a person behind the character, and with the internet and whatnot, it's so hard to try to keep it intact because people are going to be naggy about it. And that being said, I mean, you did have Mark Tigers. I mean, that's just. But whoa, we almost cut off. No, we're good. We're okay.
I think we're good.
We're good. Okay. This is the problems with technology, ladies and gentlemen. When you have videos of like, Undertaker putting up a video with a tiger with his wife Michelle McCool, you're like, oh, okay.
Mark Exotic.
Let's protect the tiger.
Yeah.
So I get it. I do get the don't break kayfabe with this, and I know there are people that I know that just love and live and breathe and embrace and sleep with kayfabe. But it's like there are times when I think that I kind of like to bro. I understand.
There are times I love it though. I loved it with like things like Cena versus Reigns. I thought it worked perfectly in that feud.
Yeah.
And the odd ones, I do think every now and then breaking kayfabe. It's a great little nod to the crowd. It's a great nod to some of the smarter wrestling fans out there. But Taker is Mr. Kayfabe.
Yeah.
If you think of a kayfabe character, most people think of The Undertaker and this dead man and this guy who can produce lightning and rise from the dead and all this stuff. And as soon as you take it out of that, you take away that character.
Well,
yeah, no one really needs to see the behind the scenes of the zombie mortician that's sometimes a biker for some reason. I feel like the breaking kayfabe wasn't the reason wasn't the case need for this one. We didn't need it.
I'm gonna say Undertaker as well. I think that he is gonna get like that win, continue piling on the best winning percentage in WrestleMania history. Just before we go on, yes or no, Biker Taker, because it was rumored that this was going to be the return of the American Badass in Tampa. Obviously now, here's our situation. Do we get it? Yes or no, Pete?
Not if it's a buried alive match.
Wolf?
The same. Not if it's a buried alive match. They're changing him up a little bit. I don't know what the rat tail's about all of a sudden, but I don't think that we're getting Biker Taker.
I'm going to say no as well. Especially because if it's going to be in a quote-unquote boneyard match, whatever this is, graveyard or not, don't see it happening. Moving forward, this is a match that has been dated back since WrestleMania 30. Like I just said, I was watching John Cena and Bray Wyatt just before I cut it to start talking with you guys. It's happening again. Bray Wyatt, John Cena. Wyatt claims that Cena ruined his career after that loss in New Orleans in 2014, and now he's saying he wants revenge back. And John Cena just, he's just there just to originally didn't have a WrestleMania match, accepted it, and now he's going to try to bury what he once buried, what he thought he buried in the first place. And Bray Wyatt is a character that has been on an interesting climb before Saudi. It is what it is. I know personally we've fed our opinions. Now's a good time to explain it. Wolf, who do you got and why?
Again, this is another one of those head versus heart things, but I feel like it's more likely that they'll actually do what my heart wants. Bray Wyatt needs this win. He absolutely needs this win. He should have gotten this win at WrestleMania 30. God knows why he didn't. I guess John Cena thought he was going to be sticking around for a lot longer. But, and I don't want to make this about Bill Goldberg. I'll get into that later. But that did some damage to Bray Wyatt. Some that, many people thought he couldn't bounce back from. And I'm not a huge fan of the way this match was set up. Because Cena comes out and says, I don't want a match at WrestleMania. Wyatt comes out and points at his sign. And then Cena's like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Yeah. So I feel like, if you're going to build up Bray Wyatt and you want to put, some steam back in the engine, have him beat John Cena, make it clean, don't make it with shenanigans, as much as, a scary clown can. But you give the win to Bray Wyatt. I feel like that's the way to go.
Pete?
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one as well. I think it might be produced a little bit movie style, especially with it being a Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, this could be equivalent to that House of Horrors that he had with Randy Orton, which we don't talk about. So the fact that this might come back is already scary enough. But Pete?
I think it's going to be a bit more clever than that. I think it might give Bray a bit of freedom on it, which they didn't give it before. I don't think Cena's going to let a House of Horrors match happen. But I think in that scenario, you are going to get a lot of shenanigans. But I think the Fiend has to win. If you want to redeem the Fiend and you want to keep that character alive, which you do for the merch, you do for the sales, and you do for just he sells out house shows, etc. If you want that character to keep its popularity and keep people interested, he has to win this one. And Cena definitely does not need this win. And I think he is, from time to time, he is happy to put the odd person over. I think this is one of those times.
Yeah, and you're all brought good points. I wasn't even thinking about the sales as a whole. I mean, this is where I would stick to the kayfabe in the sense that Bray needs it. And I was one of those people that thought that the Universal title reign was a bit lackluster in the first place. It was given to him quickly. I think he revealed himself as a Fiend in July, had the match at SummerSlam in Toronto, and then I think about 2 months later wins it. When did he win that belt? It was
Saudi Arabia.
Oh, never mind. So, right, Crown Jewel. It was very, very quick, and I think that I appreciate WWE wanting to strike gold when they did, because we've always wanted them to. Whenever something really hot, for example, like Rusev should have won the United States Championship at WrestleMania 34 when Rusev Day was on such a high ground. They tried it with Bray. They executed it, but then I just think as time went on, just wasn't. There's just something that wasn't working.
He was a guy who never needed the belt.
Exactly.
It's one of those you go back to at the start and go, he should never have been challenging for the belt. Even if he was, even if you want to do the feud with Rollins, he should have just come out and said, "I don't care about that. I just want to fight you." Type.
Yeah, and this Fiend character, this Bray Wyatt alter ego, it is perfect without the belt. You don't need to put him on a pedestal where he can do it himself. You know what I mean? You don't need the materialistic side of it. And I felt like they just try to force it, and then everybody's saying that they ruined the best thing on TV. I'm like, no, WWE's just shot themselves in the foot when they had that Hell in a Cell screw up, right? And then he just kind of threw it onto him as an apology, like, sorry, we did this to you at Hell in a Cell. Sorry, we made the Fiend like lose to a bunch of chairs and a referee's belt inside a freaking cell. Here's the title. So, regardless, sorry,
his character should be a bit like old 2001 Taker. That guy never needed a belt. He was just this mystic force that people were terrified of. It like stood out on its own without any title in different feuds. And that's what it should have been.
I mean, yeah, what does the teleporting demonic zombie clown need a championship for? He's got so much going on. He doesn't need, oh, I also care about this stat.
I mean, he murders rabbits for a living. Everybody loves the murdering rabbit, right? So, and to your point, Pete, another Taker example. Taker, Randy Orton, 2004, 2005. Incredible feud. Didn't even need a title. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to say Bray Wyatt as well. I think this is where, again, like, it's just a win that he needs. And I think it's going to get him right back on the right foot. But hopefully WWE sees that, again, you don't need a title for this man. And, of course, John Cena will put somebody over when he needs to. This is it. So, moving forward, for the first time in WrestleMania history, an NXT Championship is on the line. Rhea Ripley, I can't speak today. Rhea Ripley taking on the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte. Like I said, the first NXT title at WrestleMania. It is Charlotte's first shot at the NXT Women's Championship since she last held it in 2015. Pete, let's start with you because this is, I'm sure this is going to be some interesting feedback.
These is currently the two matches I found the hardest to predict, and I think this purely comes down to who gets the final say on this match. And I think if Vince gets the final say, Charlotte's probably going to win it. And I think it'll come down to he wants boosted eyes on NXT, he wants boosted eyes overall. However, I'm going with my heart on this one, and I'm going with Rhea Ripley because I think it is the logical choice. I think Triple H is building her as the next big star, even more so than Shayna was in NXT. I think she is the chosen one in NXT. Triple H really will put it out there, and I think giving your NXT champion that kind of rub and that kind of win, it's a massive deal and also puts the eyes that way. So I'm going with my heart. I'm going with Rhea Ripley, but I am not at all confident on this one.
Wolf.
This one is definitely hard to predict. I mean, it really could go either way. I'd like to think they build a star out of Rhea Ripley, but Charlotte Flair is proven to be better than Trish Stratus.
I'm not going to get into that, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to get into that.
I did not say it.
I knew you wanted to. I had to. Frankly, again, I think Pete kind of hit the nail on the head there. It really comes down to Vince versus Triple H, and I don't know. Maybe this doesn't really have a clean finish. Maybe Rhea wins and Charlotte stays in NXT, and that helps get more eyes on the product. I don't think Charlotte necessarily needs to win. I don't think she needs the belt. It's not beyond the realm of possibility for her to win the belt, but I feel like they're going to keep Rhea Ripley because they want to keep building more stars. At least, that's where logic should be. So, Rhea Ripley.
So, you guys are going with Rhea. I will be that guy and says that Charlotte wins solely because if you put that, let's face it, we know, we all hate, I think most of us don't like the push that Charlotte gets when it comes to just WWE in general. We've seen it happen at WrestleMania 32. We've seen it happen at WrestleMania 34 when she defeated Asuka, when she got inserted into the main event for WrestleMania 35. I absolutely see Triple H or Vince or whatever saying, let's put the belt on Charlotte, let's put her on NXT. I'm going to say this, and compete with AEW for Wednesday nights. I think that they're going to want to try to build that ratings. That being said, I like Wolf's point where he says that Rhea wins in a non-clean way and Charlotte goes back anyways. And plus, I think regardless of this, where does Charlotte go after this? What do you do with Charlotte? Because you're probably gonna have that Bayley Sasha program on SmackDown, and we're about to talk about the Raw Women's Championship next. But Charlotte doesn't even fit in there either. So I kind of see Charlotte going back, not as a demotion, but as this is just new and fresh content for you, and I see that with the title, so I'm going to go with Charlotte. But again, this is one of those things where I hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong, but that's just what I see. And speaking of the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler, the first individual who has successfully eliminated everybody inside an elimination chamber. It took us nearly 20 years for that to happen. Very surprising. This goes back to even before the elimination chamber, we knew that Shayna was going to get that spot when she came on and bit Becky's neck, which is a sight. And I think the question is this it for Becky in terms of the championship? Because Wolf, we were there when she was crowned Raw Women's Champion, and we're about to complete the year, just a few days short of it, and that it's been I think it's been an entertaining reign. I know people are saying that she's kind of was up and down with it, but in terms of consistency, I think she had it So, Wolf, let's start with you. Who do you got and why?
Well, I think you kind of have to let Shayna win because if she doesn't, who's left?
Yeah.
There's no credible challenger other than Shayna. There's Liv Morgan's gonna, beat Becky Lynch. No, this is your best opportunity. Like Shayna herself, like no one thought anyone was gonna beat her for a while there, and then Rhea Ripley came along. It's like, okay, if not her, then who else? So I'm thinking, Becky's had a great run. Now's the time for her to put somebody else over. And that's clearly going to be, Shanna.
Pete.
So this was the title match I had the least confidence in the whole of the card. And again, I agree with Wolf's points. I think it should be Shayna. I really do. It's one of those where, as you said, there's nobody left. Who are you going to bring in? You can't really go back to Becky versus Charlotte again. Becky versus Asuka's kind of done and dusted now. There's not many people left there. But I don't know if Vince trusts Shayna.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I'm so on the fence with this match. I'm going to go with Shayna because I think it is the logical choice. But I would not be at all surprised if Becky is keeping that belt, even by some kind of strange means. Because Shayna also, I think a lot of people don't realize how old she actually is. I think she's about 39, 40 now, isn't she?
Yeah,
so she's not like it's not like this young talent coming in, and I kind of feel like Vince might go, you know what, she's not the one I want to do it. Next, who's next in line? But I am going to go with Shayna, but I'm not at all confident.
I'm going to go with Shayna regardless. And she's just been booked as this big, dominant monster. And of course, when we've had big, dominant monsters enter WrestleMania, some of them have succeeded in continuing to be that monster. Others, like Asuka, have not. But there is just no way you bite off a woman's neck and have her blood in your mouth. And just to lose on a big stage. You don't. So I'm going to go with Shayna. Yeah. I would be shocked if Becky... I mean, again, I've been shocked before at WrestleMania, but I would be so surprised if Becky continues. Because, again, like both of you said, what's next? There is nothing else. Like, where do you go?
But if Shayna wins, what's next there as well? That's the other question.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she is a fresh set of opponents. Becky's kind of faced the whole division. She's like... I think this isn't really a stretch to say, you'd be doing a repeat of like everything unless you do a superstar shakeup. I think Shayna, you get some fresh matchups. None of them are going to be believable. Like, oh, they're going to beat Shayna, but it's new content.
So probably murder someone like Natalya or like
Natalya could put on a good match with her.
Now let's also keep in mind that I think regardless, I think one thing I didn't even bring up that the next pay-per-view, again, if it happens or some shape or capacity, is Money in the Bank. That has never happened where the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania is one that could drastically impact the championship scene.
No, that was last year.
Was it?
Yeah, they did that last year.
Look at me not knowing anything. All right, moving forward. This is one that we thought we were never going to...
What do you want from me?
A lot, Mr. Woltman, a lot.
Just to agree.
Sure, I agree.
It's the first time, Jose.
Next up, it is a match that we thought we were never going to get because we thought he would never come back. But at the Royal Rumble in this past January, our hearts were filled. Our excitement was through the roof because our good Lord and Savior Edge from Toronto came back after a 9-year absence due to a risk of paralysis. Completely cleared. Neck I hope is fine. He has returned to now face Randy Orton, a former partner him in rated RKO, who Orton has terrorized the hell out of him, saying that he never should have came back because he wanted to protect himself, wanted to make sure he had a life, which is a good reason to attack somebody, mind you. This is Edge's first one-on-one match since WrestleMania 27 when he defeated Alberto Del Rio in the opening match to retain and then retire as World Heavyweight Champion. And this is going to be a last man standing match. And this one, I think, has a potential to main event one of the nights. It doesn't look like it may, although now with the expected title changes, maybe. Let's start with Pete here. Who do you got and why?
Well, it's Edge. Edge is just winning this. It just makes no sense whatsoever for Randy Orton to win this match.
I think it's time to build this match. I think it's time to promote it, and then Edge next. Okay, right.
to put it in perspective, the only way this could have been Randy Orton winning is if they were going to do a multi-match series. But you don't start a multi-match series with a last man standing match.
No.
It just doesn't go that way. So this is going to be it. This is going to be the feud. This is just going to be a way of reintroducing Edge to the crowd, to everyone, just reminding, and it's going to be uncomfortable as hell because he is 100% going to be taking some neck beating. And I think he's going to take a concerto. He's going to take all this horrible stuff.
And technically, with an empty arena, you can really go anywhere and really get brutal because there's nobody around to stop you, right? Or to hold you, restrain you. So, fair point.
Well, I cannot imagine they bring back Edge after 9 years and just say, "Yep, sorry, you lose it to Randy straight away. First match, unlucky. Drop down the card, mid card, back you go."
Whoa.
Edge.
Great.
No, I have more to say than that. Yeah, I mean, Edge, you know, he's back. You put him over. You need that. This is the big babyface moment of this WrestleMania, I think. You know, that's up for debate, but I feel like this is the one. One of two, yeah. But, you know, everyone wants to see him come back. They want to see him do good. Randy Orton can take the loss. Edge needs the momentum. If he's sticking around, he needs, like, you know, a good, strong start. And this has been a really good build. You know, Randy Orton and Edge have killed it. Beth Phoenix has killed it. The one disappointment I have is that we never got Christian, like, popping up somewhere. But who knows? Maybe the real world circumstances affected that.
But they might have done it.
Yeah.
But the point is, I feel like Edge is going to win.
Obviously, I'm going to go with Edge as well. I mean, the Toronto guy, not picking a Toronto wrestler. Come on, throw me a bone here. It is the best build for this WrestleMania. There's no debate there. There is no better build than this. And yeah, I was there at SummerSlam when Edge surprised everybody in the Spirit Alliance, and we're going, what the heck, right? Why is he spearing somebody? Which, you know, sparked the rumor, was a catalyst, and then, you know, the Royal Rumble and such. Again, you still get, like, kind of like when Daniel Bryan returned in 2018 for WrestleMania 34. You still get a bit anxious when he's taking some bumps or when he was in the ring. But Edge looks better than ever. He looks ripped. He looks happy. He looks comfortable and happy to be back in that state. And like he said, he wanted to have like this one last hurrah because I think this is a 3-year contract, and he wanted to retire and on his own terms, not by force, but he wants to retire peacefully. And this is a great start to get there. And so I can't think of a better spot for him than to win this match. And my God, would it just be a complete crash if Orton wins this, no matter what.
There is one moment.
Cushion.
Yeah, there is one moment I really want to see in this match as a near fall to really get the crowd think, oh my God, Edge is going to lose. And I want to see Randy Orton pull out the punt kick.
Oh, man.
See him walk up, kick Edge in the head. And that'd be like and that'd be a 9, like a roll out of the ring and just about get there, like counts it out, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, they've actually but like the nearest of near falls," and that's one of the only ones I think I could actually believe he might do it. But that's one of the things I want to see him go to, that desperation of evil Randy.
So this is one of the matches that we just after. It's funny, after I recorded last week's episode. With RJ and David, and we were discussing the impact of the COVID WrestleMania. About 2 hours after this dropped, which was unbelievably big. Originally, it was going to be Goldberg who won the championship at Super Showdown against The Fiend, taking on the man who just decided to walk up and say, "Hey, I would like a match, please," as if it was like a deli counter in a grocery store, and gets the match. But now Roman is not there. The spear versus spear is gone. At this time. At the time of the recording, we don't know who the replacement is. This past Friday on SmackDown, or last Friday, I should say, they were still promoting it as Roman versus Goldberg. And also keep in mind that they were doing 4 days of heavy filming before Orlando shut down all sorts of events whatsoever, which included the taping of WWE's tapings. Again, the name that I saw that was spread, I don't know if it'll be revealed by the time this is out to you. It is Braun Strowman. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's what you guys heard as well.
Yeah,
that's what you guys heard as well. Okay, great. Spoilers. I've
seen a few other rumors, but that's...
yeah. And again, this could be one of those situations where it could be fake. I don't know. So I kind of want to say Goldberg versus blank, and we predict the blank. It's weird. This is really, really weird because it's not like you're gonna put somebody like, I don't know, Drake Maverick in there, right, where you know he's gonna lose, right? But at the same time, if it is somebody like Braun Strowman, you're like, wait a minute, does he win this? And it's not good no matter what happens, no matter who gets in there. Under the assumption, I'm gonna say this, under the assumption that it's Braun Strowman, I'm gonna say Braun. I'm gonna say Braun wins the title. It's dumb, it is stupid, but it is what it is. I'm gonna say Braun. Wolf.
Well, there's a lot I could say about Bill Goldberg, and I will. I mean, the dude is on a technical level that rivals Will Ospreay, so I hate to see him lose the championship in a match that no one saw coming. I can't. He should have never gotten the title in the first place.
No, of course not.
And now, get it off of him. If I can get a little silly, I'd be happy if he goes out into the ring, then all of a sudden Scott Hall comes running down the ramp with the cattle prod, chasing him, saying, "Vacate the title, and we'll do this when the time is right, when the world is healthy. Just get out of here, go back to your garage, and fix some cars." But again, under that assumption, I'm assuming it's going to be Braun Strowman. This feels like, why now? Why not 2 years ago when Strowman had all the support behind him and was on that really good run? I guess it's kind of the lesser of two evils. I don't necessarily want to see either one with the Universal Championship right now, but between Goldberg and Braun Strowman, at least Braun Strowman's there more often than a Skype call. So let's go with Braun Strowman, I guess.
Pete.
So I never wanted the title in this match. I did kind of want to see Goldberg versus Reigns, but I didn't want the title in this match at all. Because you had this guy who basically has only 2 moves and he often botches one of them, and he was facing Goldberg. And
I got it.
No, so you have Goldberg. He has a spear and he has sort of still has a jackhammer, I guess, in his arsenal, and you can only put on 3-minute matches. You gave him the belt. However, I don't think he's losing that belt now. If it was Reigns, I think 100% Reigns was taking the belt off him. If it was Reigns, I think the only person I could see him putting the belt back onto would be The Fiend, if he did some kind of weird double duty type thing, beats Cena early in the night, comes back out later, as well as like an open challenge because Reigns isn't there. That's the only other scenario I see Goldberg losing that belt, because I think they're building up the spear versus spear. It's another notch in Roman's back pocket where you can just go, yep, that's another one I can take off the list. I think Roman it's going to be taking the belt off Goldberg, and because it's not happening now, I think they're going to throw somebody to him. There might be Strowman. I also heard Corbin. That match might get rearranged. It could be Corbin.
Oh wow, okay.
But I think they're throwing someone to Goldberg, and Goldberg is just keeping that belt for now. And
so how about this? We were predicting who could win this thing. How about instead we predict this if I think I should change the predictions to, is Goldberg going to lose the title, regardless who that opponent is, because it's hard to say, it's hard to predict who it's going to be because we don't know. And now that everything's taped, you don't know what that's going to be. So, Pete, you're saying he keeps the title, Goldberg retains,
unless it's somehow Bray or Roman, which it isn't. So yeah, Goldberg retains.
Goldberg retains. Wolf, you're saying that he loses.
I think he loses. I don't think Goldberg planned to be around this long, and they just want to put him on somebody.
I'm gonna say he loses as well. So instead of just predicting who's gonna top him, we should just predict if he loses it or not, because this is so up in the air. I mean, could we have a fun swerve? I don't know. We'll see. And finally, the main event of night 1, because I don't know why it's night 1, but here we are. The WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar taking on the 2020 Scottish Royal Rumble winner, Mr. Drew McIntyre, and this has been an opportunity for Drew that has been a long waited. This is a man who came up in about 2011, 2010, became Intercontinental Champion, eventually dropped down to a jobber, fired, worked his ass off in the Indies, became shredded, became huge, became charismatic as if he wasn't already, came back to the title scene. Like I said this all last week, but it's good to say it again. Got back to the spot where he is now, and now he is in for the first time in his career, a WWE Championship match. I think we're all going to be unanimous here, but I know that with the change of scenery, people were saying something different. So, Wolf, who do you got and why?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying it's going to be really weird to see Brock Lesnar doing his, bouncy big entrance in an empty gymnasium. But I'm going to say Drew McIntyre gets it because he deserves it. He's around. He's the guy you should be building your division around. He can cut a hell of a promo. He's charismatic. He's a great worker. My only thing is they might want to hold off from giving him the title now because they might want to do it in front of a crowd. But I feel like, maybe Brock Lesnar doesn't want to have to keep coming back. God knows. Well, again, this all happens to do, it has to do with real world circumstances, which are beyond anyone's control. Even Vince's, as much as he'd love to have them under his control. So I'm going to say Drew, but with an asterisk because he's going to get the title this year. I just don't know if it's now.
Okay, fair. Pete.
Yeah, so I can't see them at all keeping the titles on Goldberg and Lesnar, and because I said they're keeping it on Goldberg, they're definitely not keeping it on Lesnar. I followed Drew's story for quite a while. Obviously, I'm from the UK as well, so we've been desperate for a UK champion.
Yeah.
And I struggle to think of someone who is more deserving than this guy who, like you said, he left WWE. He went, you know what, I'm not taking that. He built himself back up. He got shredded. He worked the indies. He's a hell of a worker in the ring, which people don't think appreciate enough. He's an incredible promo. He's great talking on improv as well. And WWE have been looking for a top guy who they can send to talk shows. They can send to promote the product. They can do all this stuff backstage in the media. They wanted it to be someone like Rollins. They wanted it to be someone else. No, you now have a guy who can do all of those things, and that is Drew McIntyre. And he can be your new top star who can do all of this. You can create the product around him. You can build it around him. And I think it's finally, this is his time. And he has earned it. And this is the second feel-good moment of the show.
Yeah, I don't see... Whoa, I hear an echo somewhere. All right, well, step back. I don't see a scenario where Drew loses. No way. There's absolutely no way it happens. And I think regardless if there's one person or 80,000, I think Drew gets his moment. And I think regardless, you're still going to have people in Scotland going to be cheering. Because I guarantee you, like you said in the UK, they won't care if there's nobody in that arena. They will celebrate, and they should celebrate. Because they've been desperate for a British champion, as desperate as they have to wanting a WrestleMania back in the UK. They deserve it. It's been long overdue. It's time, and I think this is just Drew's moment. There is no way you take this away from him just because they're in a gymnasium. You just don't. No way. But that's that, gentlemen. You made it to the end. That's long. It's WrestleManias are long, but now in the case that we equal our predictions here, and especially for you, Pete, against Nick, who by the way, I just decided that I'm going to put up Nick's predictions as well in a graphic that's going to be presented at the end of the video to show the discrepancies here and there. If there's a tiebreaker, I'm going to say, how long will the WWE Championship match be? Because we know that Brock can have those quick matches and can have those somewhat long matches if needed. So, Wolf, how long do you think this match could go for a tiebreaker? And this is going to be the closest without going over.
Price is Right rules. Okay.
Price is Right rules.
Oof. Okay, I'm going to say maybe 7 minutes.
7 minutes? Okay. Pete?
So, if this goes 7 minutes and 2 seconds, does that mean Wolf is out?
Yes.
Is that the rules?
Yes.
Holy hell.
No, it would be the other way around.
No. I'm saying it's closest without going over. So if the match goes past 7 minutes, Wolf's eliminated.
No. It would be the other way around, because if it's less than 7 minutes, then I've gone over that.
What?
So Wolf is.
Do you watch The Price is Right?
Yes, I do. I'm saying closest without going. Oh, closest without going over. But I'm saying, like, if it goes past 7 minutes, right? You're over.
Then it's going over.
It's over. That's what I'm saying.
Well, are you saying I would be going over, or that the show would be going over?
So the match would be going over.
Okay, that wasn't clear.
I feel like we should just do closest time wins, because that makes it a lot more simple.
Fine. Closest time, no matter if you go over or not.
Yeah.
Done. Wolf, do you want to change your statement then?
I mean, if we're just saying who has if closest without going over, I'd say 40 minutes, and if you all pick less than that, what it actually is, I'd still win. But my gut's still saying 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Okay, fine. Pete.
Yeah. So first show on, I'm already changing Jose's rules. Perfect.
Damn it! This is my show. Pete, what's your time?
I'm going less than that. I'm going 4 minutes 45 seconds. I think there might be a bit of shenanigans pre-bell, but I think it's going to be pretty much Claymore F5, Claymore win. I think it's going to be ridiculously short. I think it's going to be one of those matches, and I think Drew is just going to not quite Goldberg decimating, but not far off.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be put over on that level. I think it's going to be really short. So I'm going 4 minutes 45.
Okay. I still hear an echo. This is I don't know where it's coming from, but I feel like it's the fool with the Kansas hat. If
how dare you?
I'm gonna say,
very dare
you. I'm gonna say
very dare you.
I'm gonna say, originally I was gonna say it's something in the 10-minute range because it's a main event. I'm gonna say 8:30. I'm gonna say 8:30. I think because Pete brought up the little shenanigans that happened last year with Rollins and Lesnar to open WrestleMania. I don't know. I just feel like at the start of the belt, there's just going to be some action here and there. I feel like this is a match that's going to have some weight to it, as opposed to quick Claymore confetti. So
I think if there was a crowd, they might have done that. But I'm thinking the empty arena, they will probably just want shock factor or big moment rather than trying to drag out a 10-15 minute Lesnar match in front of no one.
And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the predictions. Hope we're going to get Nick in at one point. Any show expectations, guys, before we wrap up?
I would say I'm just hoping it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be different. I like the fact they've mixed it up a little bit with some backstage style matches in there. So hopefully it will add to it, but it's going to be unique and hopefully it's going to be fun.
Wolf?
I really don't know what to expect at this point because this is really just kind of unprecedented and through no fault of WWE's. I don't necessarily think they should have, proceeded with doing this in an empty gym and various studio shoots. I feel like the best option would have been to postpone it for a later date, but as it is, we'll see. I don't know. It's really hard to say, hard telling, not knowing, I guess.
Yeah, and I like I said, I understand, and we had a big debate in our group chat about this. Should they postpone or not? Some people were saying that they shouldn't have anyway, just go with it because they want to put on some sort of entertainment. And again, as a fan, I appreciate that, and I know that Vince is one to capitalize on that, not post 9/11, the first SmackDown, the big large gathering since after the tragic event, and obviously this is not on the level of that, but I can see Vince McMahon with that quote-unquote heart side in the sense that he wants to put on some entertainment. He wants us to be distracted from the world. And even just banning the word COVID-19 and coronavirus from the broadcast, just not saying it, is smart, I think. I'm appreciative it's going to happen. I do think there's a bit of stubbornness as well. I think there's a lot of stubbornness in Vince that he's going to continue with it anyways because I brought up last week with RJ and David that NFL stadiums are not used until August for the preseason, or maybe some training camps up here and there. But even then, nothing as big as this are NFL stadiums having anything unless it's a concert. But even then, it's not even that mild. But I'm just expecting a fun time. It's 2 nights, historic. I know some people were saying that WrestleMania should have been split up into 2 nights in the first place, and here we are. Obviously, not under the circumstances that we want, and the 3 of us at this time next year, again at the time of this taping, we'll be getting ready for a Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 37. The hope is to be in Los Angeles next year, and obviously that maybe they could push it, maybe extend to 2 nights. Then I don't know. There's so much to process with all this, but I'm just expecting a good time. Nothing short, just entertainment. Just get away and just be like, hey, it's WrestleMania. It's our Super Bowl. We made it, so let's sit back and relax. And that is all, gentlemen. Thank you so much for doing this. I know we went on a while, but it's WrestleMania. I'm sure any other prediction shows throughout the rest of the year will not surpass. And I've decided that yes, this will be the first time we're gonna bring back the Under the Middle Rope Championship. We are gonna do this, so the winner will become champion, quote unquote champion, of this little podcast. I do have one of my physical. I do have one of my
included in that.
Sure, let's include Nick. Fine, let's throw him into the thing. Yeah, fine, let's get Nick in because
Hey, I just want to change all your rules real quick.
Okay, great.
He's just gonna move.
It's funny because Nick is a guy. Nick is a man that loves to troll with with the arrogance and whatnot. And if he wins that, we're not near the end of it because the guy was going crazy in fantasy football. Can you imagine if he wins this? But yes, we're gonna have a champion, and the hope is that whoever one of these wins to come on to the next prediction show for any wrestling pay-per-view whatsoever. Hopefully, I can bring you guys after WrestleMania to discuss everything because there's gonna be a lot to process. There's gonna be a lot to talk. So hopefully, we'll see you guys then. So thank you guys so much, Pete, Wolf. We'll talk to you guys soon. That will conclude this part of the podcast. Let's get to the closing. Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
You made it to the end of the episode. There you go. It was an hour long, I know, but hey, when you're discussing about something that you really love, you tend to go on for hours in general. That's with any topic. Like I said at the end of that video, I have decided halfway through that episode that yes, we will be having an Under the Middle Rope champion. I do have a replica WWE title. I think it was hanging on my door on the first episode, but it fell, and I'm not going to explain why. So here it is, and of course, if Wolf and Pete or Nick, because we did get Nick's predictions in, if either of you guys win it, no, I will not be shipping this over. No, you can beg all you want, and I will not do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is, if you guys the next time you guys come on the show, you will get a little WWE Championship little graphic pinned on your little view there. So this is going to be on the line. Again, I am not shipping this out because it's mine. All right. Of course, I would like to be called champion, but we'll see how the weeks go by. So, like I said, we did get Nick's predictions in, and something did come up. He was originally supposed to be on the show, but again, don't worry, nothing's wrong, but he's okay. However, he did, like I said, given his predictions, and of course, given that today is Sunday, that we're taping this, whatever, on Sunday afternoon, Sunday, March 29th, the cards could still be updated, or we could get modifications along the way. If that was the case, it will be reflected in the graphics that I'm about to show you. But in saying that, for Nick, he has predicted Corbin to win, Aleister Black, Dolph Ziggler, The Usos, Bayley, The Street Profits, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, The Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, Rhea Ripley, Shayna Baszler, Edge, Goldberg to lose the championship, Drew McIntyre, and a 9-minute WWE Championship match. Of course, now the hope is to have all of them to come back next week. Again, we'll see how everything works out because, of course, we're going to want to discuss the fallout to all of WrestleMania and, of course, crown the quote-unquote champion. And we'll see how this goes on. So that'll be exciting. And, of course, whoever does win it, they will be appearing at the next predictions episode, whenever that is. It could be Money in the Bank. I'm not sure if an AEW show is coming, but for now, at this time, it will be Money in the Bank when it will be defended next. But first, we're gonna crown it at WrestleMania. So that is that. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, I know it was long, but of course, we appreciate you listening throughout the whole thing. Subscribe to us here on YouTube and click that notification bell. I keep forgetting to tell you guys, click the bloody bell. It's important because then you guys know when a new video or new episode drops out on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And of course, follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Under Middle Rope. I am your host, Jose Taboada. Enjoy WrestleMania 36. It's here. Let's have fun with it. We'll see how it goes. That's all for me. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you guys next week with our reaction. Enjoy. Take care.